G'day guys, I'm Dean from Blog for the Blood God.
And I'm Lockie from Risky Rollers.
And today we've joined forces to bring you a 2,000 point battle report where we're going to be having the Night Lords Chaos Legion.
And I'm bringing Leviathan Nids. It's going to be epic.
So we've got the big bad that is the Leviathan Nids. They're dominating the tournament scene right now, but I'm pretty sure I can take them out using the Night Lords. So let's just jump straight into the video and let's see what happens.
Oof.
Blog for the Blood God.
Alrighty guys, let's start off by going through the Night Lords list. So it wouldn't be a Chaos Space Marine army these days without Abaddon the Despoiler and a Supreme Command detachment, so he's where the list sort of starts off. Then we go into a Night Lords battalion. We have a Demon Prince with the Mark of Slaanesh, Wings, Hellforged Sword, and he has the Night Lord's Dirty Fighter Warlord trait, which allows him to select an enemy unit within 3 inches at the start of the fight phase and make that unit fight last, which is really powerful and pairs with Mark of Slaanesh well. Then we have a Master of Possessions, also Mark of Slaanesh. He has Pact of Flesh, Mutated Invigoration, Delightful Agonies, and he also has the Liber Hereticus, which allows him to cast 3 powers per turn. So he's going to be casting all 3 of those every turn. Then we go into our troop slots where we have 3 units of cultists. These guys are for backfield objective scoring, raising banners, screening out enemy deep strikes, those sorts of simple things. Then in our elite slots, we have a unit of 10 chosen with the Mark of Slaanesh, and we have a unit of 9 chosen with the Mark of Khorne. There's an icon in both of those units as well. So the Mark of Slaanesh are going to be hitting on 2s, and the Khorne are going to be having that extra AP, which is going to be really powerful in this game. Then we've got the other staple of all the good Chaos Space Marine lists, which is a unit of 10 Terminators, Mark of Slaanesh, no upgrades on them except for the Black Rune of Damnation, which is going to make them really tough, really hard to kill, and being Night Lords, they actually have the ability to deep strike in on the table turn 1, which is going to be really powerful, and it also insulates them from taking any damage before they get their psychic powers and their buffs up, and it also mitigates the fact that they're quite slow with only a 5-inch move characteristic. So being able to just deep strike deep into your opponent's lines turn 1, it's going to be really, really powerful on them. We then round the list out with 5 Raptors, which are really good in Night Lords because they have a neg1 leadership debuff, which pairs well with the Night Lord's Legion trait. They're also there because they'll be able to move out rapidly and raise banners early in the game, and they can also assist with things like behind enemy lines. Speaking of behind enemy lines, we've got 2 units of a single Obliterator. Now, a lot of people take these together in a unit of 2 so that they can resurrect them. However, in the Night Lords list, I've opted to go for 2 single units because that way I can put them in Warp Strike and I can deep strike them in pockets in my opponent's backfield, which is going to get me those behind enemy line points. And it also means that you can segment their shooting, and you can shoot with 1 first, and then based on the damage done, you can then choose where to allocate the shots from the second. Whereas if you run them in a squad of 2, you have to allocate them at the same time and then resolve them. And then the last thing in the list is a Rhino, which is going to be there for the Chosen. And if you watch my Rhino masterclass, you'll have a bit of an idea on what I'm going to do with this. But basically, they're going to have the Master of Possessions and the Chosen in it. They're going to disembark out, and then the other Chosen are going to embark in, and then the Rhino is going to move off, so that they basically get massive amounts of movement on both of those units of Chosen. Yep, and that's the list. So we're going to jump into the Tyranids list, and we'll see what Lockie's bringing, and we'll take it from there.
Alrighty, Tyranid fans, here we are. We're going to smash the CSM, maybe. Right, so Battalion, Leviathan, I'm taking the adaptive trait. Since the FAQ changes and a lot of the nerfs that Tyranids have had, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of the adaptive biomorphologies. So the adaptive one, allowing me to reroll a single hit roll, is going to go in pretty well with some of the choices that I've chosen today. So first HQ choice is a Hive Tyrant. A Hive Tyrant has adaptive biology warlord trait for the Feel No Pain, and also the Shard Gullet relic for that damage 5 venom cannon. Pretty spicy. On top of that, second HQ choice is Neurothrope. I've given the Neurothrope a warlord trait as well, being Alien Cunning, because I found having it being obsec and count as 5 models can be a good deterrent, especially for backfield holding. Really easy to hide, and it can be kind of annoying for people to deal with. Moving into troops, we have 2 units of warriors. They're exactly the same, just 4-mans with a single venom cannon and the rest of death spitters. and double bone swords. So I've found in other games with not using warriors, I feel like warriors are pretty much auto-taking purely for a couple of things. One, for synapse, obviously, and then the other reason is to open up the synaptic +2 to charge stratagem. So getting a hit with them, anything that charges into that unit that scored a successful hit is +2 to charge. Good for coming out of deep strikes and other bits and pieces, pretty strong. And then our next two troop units are 2 units of Hormagaunts, just 10-mans. I'm keeping them nice and small to avoid blast. You know, against Dean's list, probably not going to come up much, but I like keeping troop units, especially of bugs that are quite easy to kill, under that 11 mark to mitigate that. Moving into elites, we have a single unit of 4 Zoanthropes. Zoanthropes are amazing. So we've taken Smite, obviously, and Psychic Scream. We want these to be big mortal wound dumpers and push them around as quickly as possible. And then on top of that, a bit of a controversial choice, and the reason why I've taken this choice is directly because of taking a Hive Tyrant. So we've taken a single unit of Tyrant Guard, just with swords and whips. They're pretty much there just to character protect the Hive Tyrant. So we can sit the Hive Tyrant out, keep the Tyrant Guard in behind obscuring terrain, and it can't be targeted. So, I mean, unless we have sniper weapons, but I don't think Dean's got any. So it's a good way to be able to have unimpacted crazy shooting from the Hive Tyrant for at least the first couple turns of the game. So again, taking out things like key terminators or vehicles that you need to, it can be very, very powerful. Moving into fast attack, we have a single Trigon. So I like taking Trigon Primes, but it is a little bit more expensive, and Trigons are going to be interesting today. So I have paid an adaptive physiology of hardened biology, so +1 to armor save for damage 1 attacks. Trying it, see what happens. It's pretty fast, you know, and it has a lot of attacks, so it can go pretty well into a lot of MSU bodies that Dean has today. Being able to deep strike is also really tasty. Finally, moving into our heavy support choice, we have 2 Screamer Killers. They're decked out with Spore Assists and Adrenal Glands. Having that 1-up save in combat, in ranged, is really good. They move fast, they have a buttload of attacks. They are epic. I love Carnifexes with the new book. They are great. Take as many as you want. The last heavy support choice is Exocrine. We've also paid an adaptive physiology of Dermic Symbiosis, giving out that 4-up invulnerable save. Great backline shooter, and it's great just to sit on to help support the Neurothrope and backfield objective shooting. It's good at killing vehicles, it's good at killing troops, it's just good at killing stuff. And then finally, it's the Harpy. Sometimes I don't like taking the Harpy because it is so expensive now, but it's still pretty good. Those Venom Cannon shots, you know, potentially putting out 28 damage if everything goes through is pretty crazy. 24 damage, sorry. And we've also spent the 10 points on the adaptive physiology to make it synapse. So we can use it to kind of help other units that don't have synapse, i.e. Carnifexes, Hormagaunts, stuff like that. We can just use it to drop bombs, harassing, and we want it to take out some key targets early on. So that's the plan-ish with that. That's the list. I reckon we can hold off Dean a bit. He's got some tricksy stuff that this list isn't necessarily geared to take towards, but we are strong and we are great at shooting and we have some good psychics. So let's get into this game and mince these Chaos boys.
Alright, so today we will be playing Recover the Relics. So for this one, there is a special rule where in this mission a player only receives a Battleforged CP bonus at the start of their command phase if they control either one or more of the objective markers in their opponent's territory, or if they control one or more markers in no man's land. In addition, at the start of the command phase, if a player controls an objective marker in their opponent's deployment zone, that player receives 1 additional command point. It's a take and hold mission. As you can see, we've got a hammer and anvil style deployment where we've got 6 objective markers, 1 placed in the heart of each player's deployment zone, and then 4 distributed down the center of the table in no man's land. It's take and hold, so you only have to hold 1 to get 4 points, 2 to get 8, and more than your opponent to get 12. And there is a break them body and soul, which is the progressive objective, where at the end of each battle round, each player scores 1 victory point for each enemy unit that was destroyed this battle round to a maximum of 3. So that's your sub-primary. And yeah, that's the mission. Let's get into secondary selections now, and then we'll start the game. Alrighty guys, let's talk secondary objectives. So for the Chaos Space Marines, the Night Lords, I've taken the Long War, which on a 6 objective mission is going to be quite good because there's going to be lots of opportunities to push him off. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this one, basically I'm going to generate 1 victory point for every enemy unit that I kill that was within range of an objective marker. And I'm also going to generate 2 if I control an objective marker that my opponent controlled at the start of the turn. So given that, you know, Lockie's got quite a few units, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to push them off objectives and generate a consistent 3 victory points most turns. Then I've taken behind enemy lines, which is really good for the Night Lords. We're really aggressive. We're going to be deep striking shit in. We're going to be teleporting around the table. So being able to get into his deployment zone shouldn't be that big of a challenge. And basically doing so with 1 unit is going to get me 2 victory points. Doing so with 2 or more units at the end of my turn is going to get me 4 victory points. And then for my final secondary, I've taken Raise the Banners High. Good old trusty banners where basically on a 6 objective mission, it's going to be quite easy for me to push out early, raise up those banners, and insist that, you know, if Lockie wants to come and take those banners off me, he's going to have to hop onto my objectives, which means that I'm going to be able to get those long war points. So this lines up with the video that I did a few months back where I was talking about the pairing of those 2 secondaries, the long war and the banners. So we're going to put that into action today. And yeah, we'll see what happens. What secondaries have you taken, mate?
Pretty similar. So we've also taken banners because I have a lot of MSU, well, not a lot. For Tyranids, I've got a bit of MSU for getting, like Dean said, those banners early. And considering the mission that we're playing, I should be able to hold off at least 2 to 3 of those objectives throughout the entirety of the game. On top of that, we've taken Engage, which might seem counterintuitive to banners. However, I do have a lot of fast moving stuff and monsters that are quite quick. So I'm not impeded by the whole 6 stuff and unit issues that is now a change to Engage. So that's a bonus. And then finally, we've taken no prisoners. So doing the calculation, if Dean's tabled, he gives up 15. I'm not betting that that's going to happen, but even a safe 10, which then becomes if I can kill, 2/3 of the army, it gives up about 11 points. So 11 points, I think predictive on these secondaries, I could probably score between 9 to 11 on each of them. And that's pretty good. Like that's a good safe bet. And that's what I try to work on, in the averages or the safe bets on what you're predicting your scores to be, rather than coming out and saying we're going to do 15s. Yeah. Because they don't happen.
Yeah. Banking on a 15 is always a risky gambit. Yeah. I think the choice of no prisoners is really good because, you have to be killing me to play the game.
Exactly.
So you're going to be generating points just by playing without having to put much conscious thought into it, which is always an advantage.
And the good thing with NIDS, it's like very, why it's so good into things like Custodies and CSM and stuff. We have high AP, we have high damage and high strength. So pretty much every failed save is either a dead Marine or it's a dead Terminator or it's a dead something. So we can leverage that with lots of attacks and try and maximize that scoring as much as possible.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
All right, cunts, here we are. Needs deployment. So I'm trying to be tentative on Dean's potential turn 1 charge because of the Night Lord strat and whatever. So I'll just start over this side. Held my Harpy back enough away just on this far left-hand corner. It's now an aircraft, so we want to get a good straight line of fire. We can potentially drop some mines along the way to help move block him as he's coming through. It's got a small unit of warriors here, well outside of the range of the Hormers, in case Dean wants to put some Terminators here and charge them. We can get a good counter and he won't be able to tag into me. Moving along here, the Hive Tyrant is tucked in the back here with the Tyrant Guard. In front of them is the Neuro and the Zoanthropes as well, creating a nice big mortal wound psychic bubble there. We are mindful that a lot of his stuff is just here in terms of psychic stuff. As I said, the gaunts are just at the front here, making that nice shield wall. Moving over to the Screamers just in the center here. We've held them back from the same line just to make sure that they can't get charges, because we want those Screamers to stay alive at least for the first 3 turns at least. Exocrine is just sitting back there. That's probably not going to move much of all game. Sit on that home field objective and just shoot whatever it can. Moving over into this far corner, we've done the same thing with the gaunts, build up a straight line, and then behind that is the Trigon. I didn't start the Trigon in Deep Strike, and the potential was, I was thinking maybe I can Deep Strike, spend a CP for Subterranean Assault and put a unit of Tormagons or a unit of Warriors with it and pop it up. But Dean has so many decent sized units that if I did that, his ability to screen me out is gonna really affect me. And then I'm failing on my forward push up the front, and it doesn't go in well with my secondaries of trying to hold essentially my half of the board. And then finally, behind the Trigon is we have the last unit of 4 Warriors there. So we're putting these screens out with the Hormagaunts ready to die. They're gonna push if they don't die from shooting everything. We're gonna banner, and then we're gonna have these layers of continual support just coming through, trying to just this slow moving push as we shoot and kill important stuff.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Alrighty, so my deployment's pretty simple. Unfortunately, a lot of it's hidden out of your line of sight over here, but basically what I've done is I've got the Rhino, which has the squad of 9 and the Master of Possessions inside of it. Behind that, we have the unit of 10 chosen, ready to basically jump into that Rhino when the front unit disembarks. We've got Abaddon, the DP, and some cultists ringed around them there, just to make sure that that Harpy can't fly down in that first turn and snipe my characters. Then across here, we've got some cultists chilling in the woods. They've got a deck chair out there. They're, you know, punching some darts, sinking some cans, and just having a nice relax, holding this objective. And then over in the corner there, we have our single spawn and our unit of raptors basically ready to push up onto that objective on that side. So we're basically going for an early raising of all 3 of these banners with the units that we have available, and then hoping that ideally I get the first turn, which would be fantastic because then I'd be able to drop those Terminators in, clear out his screens, put that problem right in his front lines for him to deal with. So that's what we've done in deployment. We've got the 2 single Obliterators there in Warp Strike as well, so that they can come down in any holes that are opened up by the Terminators in the second turn. And obviously the Terminators are in the Warp Strike as well, going for that strong Alpha Strike. So it's really hinging on going first. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble if I don't. So yeah, we'll do the roll-off in a moment. We'll get back to you and we'll... wish me luck, guys.
Good luck.
Alrighty, guys, we're doing the big roll-off to go first. Lockie, would you like to do the honors? Oh, I can't.
That sucks.
I can beat it. 2 no wuckers. Yeah, there's a 6.
Hey.
So Night Lords will take the first turn.
Shake my hand. Yeah. Good game, bro.
Alrighty, guys. So pretty straightforward turn 1 in my movement phase. So basically what we've done is the Master of Possessions and the Mark of Slanesh chosen have disembarked out here. The Rhino has then reloaded itself with the Mark of Khorne chosen, which were over here.
Yep.
They're now inside the vehicle. It's advanced up over here so that it's outside of the line of sight of that Hive Tyrant and that Exocrine. And then basically all the cultists have moved up. These cultists stay still. The Raptors moved up, and we've raised banners on all 3 of these backfield objectives. And then in my reinforcements step of my first turn, the Terminators have arrived. They've arrived so that they're within 9 inches of these 2 units of Gaunts and within 3 inches of our Master of Possessions. And the idea here is that in the psychic phase, I'm going to use his Ritual Dagger to kill one, resurrect it at the front, and make that a 5-inch charge with my Terminators. And hopefully kill some Gaunts in the process. So let's jump into the Psychic phase and get back to you. Alrighty guys, we're going into the Night Lord's Psychic phase. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use his dagger on those Terminators, doing D3 mortal wounds for a total of 1. So there's 1 mortal wound on those Terminators. That's going to give him +2 to his casts, and that's going to let him do Mutated Invigoration, aiming for +1 toughness. So that goes off on a 7, which becomes a 9. Do you want to go for a deny?
Yes, I will use the Zone Thropes deny.
Yep.
So we are in the Psychic Imperative, so we'll be getting +1 to that deny. So I need to show a 7 on the dice.
Yep.
Which I do not.
Cool. Now my next power, I'm going to do 3 mortal wounds. So that kills that Terminator, which I'm going to kill this guy in here. And now this is Pact of Flesh, so I get +2 to this as well. Cast that off on a 10. So that counts as a 12 because I got +2 to my cast. So do you want to try and go for a deny
I
there?
needed 12, so I will use the Neuroth, one of the Neurothropes denies, needing 12.
Ooh, a 9. So no luck, which now means that I can resurrect this Terminator up the front here, putting him within 2 inches of these two lads, and giving me that sweet, sweet 5-inch charge.
Nice.
And now we're going to top it off with Delightful Agonies, which goes off on a 6. Do you want to go for a deny there?
8, right?
No, this one doesn't get the +2. So
Okay, so yeah, we'll use the Neuro's other deny, so I'll need to show a 6 on the dice. And we deny that.
Yep, cool. So Delightful Agonies was denied, but everything else went through.
So that's your 5 up, feel no pain, right?
Yes. Alrighty guys, so you saw that psychic phase, so Delightful Agonies being denied is a bit painful, especially given all the psychic damage that's about to come my way. We've just done the shooting phase, where basically the Terminators fired all of their bolt guns into the Zoanthropes and managed to pop one of them, so that's good. And then we've done the charge phase as well. So basically, you saw we resurrected that one guy, so we went for a 5-inch charge. I declared just this Gaunt unit as a target of the charge, because the idea here is that I'm going to kill them in the combat phase with no worries, and then I'm going to consolidate into these Gaunts, and then use the Night Lord's stratagem we have come for you to make it so that they can't fall back, and that means that none of the shooting in this Tyranid army is going to be able to target those Terminators. I still think the psychic damage alone is probably going to be enough to get most of the work done, especially with Delightful Agonies having failed, but it goes a long way to making sure that those Terminators survive a little bit longer. So yeah, we'll resolve the combats, and then we'll jump into the Tyranids turn. Alrighty guys, so that's the end of my turn, so we'll talk victory points now. So basically we've got 3 banners raised. Yep. We got the Veterans of the Long War by killing the Gaunts off of that objective and taking it for myself. And then we also get 2 victory points for behind enemy lines for the Terminators being wholly within the Tyranid deployment zone. So decent turn of secondaries, but a little bit worried that I'm about to lose all my Terminators. So we'll see what psychic damage the Tyranids can do.
Oof, all right, that was a bit annoying to deal with. So for our movement phase, we've pretty much just across the board, just meandered forward. So Harpies jumped over here. We're gonna lay some mines along the way, hopefully block some movement of any Chosen or anything else wanting to come in. Trigon has just moved out over on that far side. We wanna clear out this side. So by removing a lot of Dean's flying units, because if I can get rid of the fly units, nothing in his army can interact with the Harpy, and that will have free pickings for the rest of the game to just fly and kill stuff. Over here, the Warriors have just come up here and they've bannered. The 2 Screamer Killers have just moved right up, looking to get unfailable charges here. The Exocrine has like turned his penis over to this side to get lines of fire onto the Raptors on that objective, because as I said, we want those Raptors dead. And we've also moved the Harpy in a way where we're well and truly out of a charge from the Demon Prince in his next turn. Tyrant Guard have just moved up, Zoanthropes have moved up, Neothropes have moved up, Warriors have moved up here, because the Harpy is going to try and pop the Rhino, which is going to open up what's in here, and then the Warriors are either going to be able to shoot and charge whatever's in there. I understand he's probably going to move back here, which is going to make the charge quite long. However, we could pop that. We have strats for, I said in the list it was +2 to charge. Shard Lure is actually 3d6 on the charge, but still, that's a decent increase.
That's much better than fucking +2.
2, yeah. And plus with a CP reroll, it's handy. Hive Tyrant has just kind of moved in a position where we've got lines of fire onto these Chosen as well as the Raptors if we need to, for whatever reason, if the Exocrine whiffs, which, knowing my rolling, probably very likely. So that's what we've done. So we'll get on to the Psychic phase and see how many Terminators we can kill.
Alrighty, Tyranid Psychic phase, do your worst.
All right, so Neurothrope is going to do Catalyst on this Carnifex, needing a 6.
Fails.
Fails horribly.
Good start.
Even with my +2, it still fails.
Yep.
That's fine. Then we will smite that Terminator unit. So with +2 for 7, not great.
So I'm going to go for a deny with my Master of Possessions there. That's a 7 as well.
So that equals.
So it's equal, so not denied. So,
D3. Oh.
Oops, straight off the table.
Hey, for 3.
So there's one dead Terminator. I'll just take one of these guys over here, I guess.
Yep. And then in my command phase, I put warp siphon or whatever it is from the Neurothrope onto the zones, so they're getting 3d6 to cast. So we'll start with Smite. So they're +4 currently because they're +1 for each, and then they're +1 for the Psychic Imperative. Oh, that is so bad.
So what's that? Does that add together? So that's a 7 +4. So
it is a super.
Okay, so it's going to do D6 mortals. That's going to kill a decent
3.
chunk of Terminators. So I'm going to use Abaddon's 4-up deny.
Oh.
That was totally going to be a 4. Yes, so that's denied. That cost me a CP, but it saved probably 2 Terminators, 3 Terminators, so worth it.
Pretty big. And then we'll use 1 CP to cast another power, and we'll do Psychic Scream, which definitely goes off.
Yep.
And then it's just D3.
Yep, so I'm going to try for a
deny?
natural deny on that, because that's your last more or less power, so yep. That's not a denied though.
Yep, so D3, another 3.
Oof, okay, so 2 Terminators down.
Yep.
And then Hive Tyrant.
Hive Tyrant is going to cast Smite, so we're getting +1, so we've done 5, 6, so need a 7 on the dice. And we get a 7 on the dice.
And we get a 7. And I don't think the Master of Possessions can deny twice. I think he can only deny once.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess you can have it. All right,
D3?
So, yeah, D3.
For 2.
2. Okay, cool. So another 2.
All right, so that was horrible. I killed barely anything. Standard Lockie rolling. If you watch any Risky Rollers content, you'll see that. So we only took Harpy's shot into here and did 4 wounds from 6 shots. Righto. Hive Tyrant shot raptors and killed 3 of them. The Exocrine shot all of his, 7 shots into him and did nothing. Trigon shot into the Spawn, did nothing. These warriors shot into the Chosen, did nothing. And that's all we can shoot. So pretty woeful. So we'll be back in the charge phase.
I'm going to get you a new shirt that says did nothing on the back of it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's your new name.
Did nothing. Yep. Lame.
I'm filming, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I know. And that's, I'm just like,
good.
Yeah, so, okay. Combat, we made a slight error with our movement of the Screamer Killer over here. It enabled Dean to pull away with a significant bunch. However, when you roll like 9 1s and 2s to hit, it doesn't matter. Like,
especially when I roll all 3 pluses against your baby trans.
It's super annoying. So at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want to be good, but if you can't roll above 3s, you're never going to win games. So
basically the summary was you charge both your Screamer Killers in. You fought first with this lad, killed a bunch, which allowed me to remove the casualties from this side, so that this guy was not eligible to fight. And then because I'm Marcus Lanesh, I fight first. I fought with these lads, killed all the Gaunts.
Yep. Which is annoying because we failed our charge over here. So that was to blockade the Chosen from moving in. Now the Chosen are unimpeded to move in and cause more problems. So we'll see what happens in CSM turn 2.
Alrighty, so there we have the end of my movement phase. So I scored a hold more because at the start of the turn I held these 3 objectives. Tyranids only were on these 2 because I was able to kill those Gaunts in their turn. So strong start to the game. Also got my 3 banners. Really strong start to the turn. Now we've moved up the Chosen that were inside this Rhino, the Khorne ones. They've disembarked out here and they're going to hope to hit the Warriors and the Zoanthropes and hopefully clear them out. Their Rhino is emptied, is now moved up in here to get me that behind enemy lines. So basically we're going to have multiple units in the deployment zone for that. Our little nugget has moved up here where we've got the Slaneshi Chosen have moved up, Abaddon, Demon Prince, Master of Possessions, and then Cultists around the back. We've still got a unit of Cultists on this objective back here behind the ruined wall here. So they're still holding that one down. The Spawn that was up on this objective, he's actually moved back off. Now, it might seem like I'm abandoning that objective, which I kind of am, because if I stay there, that, Trigon is absolutely just going to kill me off. So there's no advantage to staying there, so I might as well run away, and now at least I still have that spawn. So that's the idea there. And then I've also spent 1 command point to use the Night Lord's stratagem to basically pick those raptors up and put them back into strategic reserves so that I can bring them down later and hopefully use them to get more of those behind enemy lines points. Still got the 2 obliterator units in strategic reserves as well. I could have dropped them down and put some shooting in, but I want to make sure that I've got that layered threat that I can just keep putting things in that deployment zone and keep scoring those behind enemy lines points. So yeah, we'll do psychic and shooting and we'll get back to you. Alrighty guys, so this is looking like it's going to be one of those games where I need to take Lockie out for a beer afterwards because holy fuck, this cunt can roll 1s and 2s. So psychic phase and shooting phase is now wrapped up. So basically he denied my Pact of Flesh, which was really good. And prevented me from resurrecting any of my Terminators, which sort of sucked. I did get my mutated invigoration off and buffed up the toughness of these Chosen, just to make it so that, you know, when he does hit me with those warriors and whatever, he's not wounding me on 2s. If they get to strike. Then we did some smites and some more sort of insignificant stuff. I failed Delightful Agonies again, so that was not very delightful. It was very agony-inducing though. Then shooting-wise, basically the Chosen here shot all their bolters, the Rhino shot his bolter, a couple bolters from this stuff back here, and we actually managed to kill, what, 3? Two warriors.
2 zones.
And 2 zones, just with bolter shooting, right? Like just prattle bolter shooting. So that was quite strong, and now we're basically going to go into the fight phase, and yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I actually think I'm going to clean up quite heavily here, so we'll see, and we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we ended my combat phase. Slightly disappointing in my opinion. So the Chosen went in, and I basically put 5 of them into the Warriors and 4 of them into the single Zoanthrope. And then this one lad was just holding back so that we're getting the reroll aura from Abaddon. I spent the CP to get them hitting on 2s. So they went in hitting on 2s, 1 billion attacks, killed the Warriors, but they failed to kill that Zoanthrope. So 4 Chosen with CP investment and rerolls. Couldn't kill a single fucking Zoanthrope.
And just remember, you killed 2 with bolters.
Correct. So with a few random bolters, I could kill 2, but with 1 billion fucking high AP, high strength fucking corn-marked fucking motherfuckers, can't kill shit. Then we had the combat over here, the Terminators into that Screamer Killer. Because I had Marcus Lanesh, I got to fight first, and I did 3 wounds, I think it was. But then the Screamer Killer just spent a CP to reroll all of its wounds, and it just shredded those Terminators in response. So even through that neg1 to wound, the Black Rune, being able to reroll wounds is just a really good way of getting around that. So that was a little bit disappointing. However, victory point wise, I got my behind enemy lines, which is what I'm aiming for. My banners are all still up, which is really good. So I think I'm in a decent position anyway, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen a bit more damage there. But we'll jump into Tyranids Turn 2 and we'll see how we go.
Alrighty, so Dean had a bit of a whiff there. It's all right. We're gonna try and slap back as hard as possible. So starting with the Harpy over on that far side, we've just zooped up over here. We want to get lines of fire onto the Chosen here. We want, in this turn, we really want to eradicate, now that we've killed the Terminators, we want to kill the next 2 Chosen blobs and open up this little character castle he's got going on in the middle here. So that's moved over there, looking lines of fire. We've moved back with the little Spore Mines that we dropped last turn and come in with the other Screamer Killer, looking for a charge in here. The Trigon has just moved up as well, looking can shoot and charge. The Screamer that was here has just done a big old move with a guaranteed charge coming into this Chosen blob. The Zones and the Neuro have stayed in combat because we want a Psychic. And then these 3 Tyrant Guard have just zooped over to try and roadblock these guys in case my 1s and 2s come into play again.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The Hive Tyrant has just meandered over to this side, still maintaining the 3 inches, looking to get fire onto the Chosen, because even if other thing kills it, I still should be able to get lines of fire into most of it, and then charging into the Rhino here. And then the Exocrine has just moved his penis gun in a way to get lines of fire over onto the Chosen as well. So it's all about Chosen. Just kill them.
Have you chosen your targets?
I have chosen my targets. Okay, that was a little bit better. Actually, I want to talk about exactly what I wanted to do.
I was going to say, what are you talking about, cunt?
So pretty much everything shot and killed this unit of Chosen, which is what we wanted to happen, and that's pretty much all that happened in the shooting phase, really.
Yeah.
I decided not to shoot with the Trigon because I want the Trigon, I want us to get charges onto the cultists, thank you. And just tie up these characters and see what happens. Have fun with it. Who cares?
And your psychic phase?
Oh, his psychic phase was a huge whiff. Rolled a perils. Had to use my CP to not blow up and do mortals, and then we only killed one Chosen. So yeah, whatever. It's fine. It happens. We'll be back in charge phase. All right. So we did another Locky Standard with Central. Came over here with a Screamer and killed 2 Chosen. From 11 attacks. Great. Only against Dean and Dalton does this happen. Then we came over here and Abby smashed back our Screamer.
Yep.
And just obliterated it.
Marcus Lanesh letting me fight first. Came in clutch.
Yep, pretty good. Then the Tyrant Guard attacked and they killed 1. The Hive Tyrant couldn't even take more than 3 wounds off a Rhino.
Yep. So that Rhino's got 1 wound left.
Only getting 2 wounds through, which is a joke.
Yeah.
So yeah, very demoralizing. So,
and then I got revenge and finally killed that zone.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
the zone died. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we've tied this up. We've opened stuff up, but still not looking great. Lot's going to die. Abby's going to have free reign to move around. So we'll see what happens with CSM turn 3.
Alrighty guys, there we have the end of my turn 3 movement phase. So basically, I got plenty of banners points, I got decent primary again. We've got Abaddon has moved up here, he's going to take out that Trigon. We've got the Demon Prince, he's jumped over here, he's going to put fight last on that Screamer Killer and then try and kill that as well. And basically make it so that the Tyranids can't interrupt. So that'll be good there. Then we've dropped the Raptors down over here. They were the ones that went up in the sky last turn, so they're just gone back onto that objective. The 2 Obliterators, they've dropped down here. They're going to try and kill some warriors. And this Rhino has fallen back, so we've got plenty of units in there for behind enemy lines. And we're looking to do some decent damage here as well. So fingers crossed it all goes our way. We're going to do some shooting and some combats and some sick shit, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, quick phase there. So the Master of Possessions, he failed Pact of Flesh, he failed Mutated Invigoration, but he did get off Delightful Agonies for the first time this game. Then the Demon Prince did a smite, put 2 wounds on that Screamer Killer, so he's taken 5 now, I believe.
Yep.
Then with some shooting, Abaddon killed some Spore Mines, the Obliterators killed a warrior each, and that pretty much summed up the shooting. So we're going to do some charges and fights, and we'll let you know how they go. Alright, so charges, we had the Obliterators both failed to get into those warriors, which is a bit disappointing. However, Abaddon got in and killed that Trigon, that Tryhard, dead.
The Tryhard is dead.
And then what we had here was interesting, where basically the Demon Prince and the Master of Possessions both charged into the Screamer Killer. Then the Cultists charged in as well to wrap around. They didn't charge the Tyrant Guard, they just charged the Screamer Killer, which meant the Tyrant Guard can't fight them. And then when I killed that, they were able to then consolidate and pile in and all that shit to sort of re-establish the defensive screen around my characters. And then the Demon Prince fought and killed the Screamer Killer. The Chosen fought and did a couple of wounds, I think, to one of the fucking Tyrant Guard, but the Tyrant Guard killed 2 in return. Thank God I got that Delightful Agonies off.
Yeah, it came in
clutch. That came in quite good. So yeah, that more or less summarizes my turn. So we got a few things, but not everything that I wanted, and we'll see how we go. We'll jump into turn 3 for Tyranids.
Okay, so we don't have a lot to work with. We've been very contained to our deployment zone for the whole game, which is poo. So, Exocrine hasn't moved. Neurothrope's moved over here and he's got a banner because we didn't banner that whole game. So that was stupid. These guys have, Tyrant Guard have just moved over to pave the way for the consolidation, so that the Hive Tyrant can move over here. And then the Harpy has looped all the way back. We've run right over Abby, so we can do mortals on Abby. And then we're going to get some shots. We want to be able to clear this screen to enable the Hive Tyrant to come in and pop the DP. Because if we can do that with our extra consolidation, we should be able to take this point back, which would be cool. So we'll be back after the Psychic. Alrighty, so we've cleared some Chosen. So pretty much Exocrine and Harpy have shot and killed this unit of Chosen, and then it opened up the Hive Tyrant to shoot the Demon Prince, which only did 5 wounds, but I did force Dean to spend a CP, so that's kind of good. But it's also opened up for me to completely charge this and see how much damage we can do. So let's do the rest of the charge and combat, and we'll be back. Oof, that was good, really good. So we have taken away a lot of Dean's kind of offensive output now. Demon Prince died, got shot in the face as you saw in the shooting phase, and then got slapped by Scything Talons to the face. The Tyrant Guard took out 5 cultists, which should have been a little bit more, but whatever, then failed morale, and he lost another 2. We piled into the Master of Possession because we don't want him to be able to do like fall back and move and do other psychic powers later on. And then he basically took 1 wound off the Hive Tyrant. So all in all, that was actually pretty good, pretty clutch kind of turn. So I'm still massively behind on points, but maybe we can rein it in the last couple of turns. So we'll be back with CSM turn 4.
Alright, nice and simple turn 4. So we got lots of banners, we got lots of primary points because I'm holding most of the board. Well, this one's contested and, well, I'm holding with Obsec, sorry. So I'm holding 4, Tyranids holding 2, so that's a good start. Obliterators have moved in, they're going to hopefully punch those 2 warriors off and take that objective, which should give me my Long War. The Rhino's still going to help me get that behind enemy lines, as is the Obliterators, as is Abaddon, if he makes his 7-inch charge here into this Hive Tyrant. So we're sort of pushing up, we're trying to clean up a little bit. Not much else to say in the movement, so we're going to do some Psychic, we're going to do some shooting, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, so recapping turn 4, so we had Abaddon failed his charge, quite disappointing.
Twice.
He CP rerolled it, failed it again, so he calls himself a War Master, but he can't even get past a wall. So then we had the Obliterators, they punched on, killed the Warriors. One of them used its Consolidate move to end back in the deployment zone, so I get my behind enemy lines for 4. And that also gets me my Long War points, which is really good. Then we had the Master of Possessions. He managed to do another 3 wounds, unsaved wounds, to the Hive Tyrant with his ability to do mortal wounds, or cause perils. Cause the perils, right? So he does that, and then he also was doing D3 damage, which I rolled 3 for as well. So that was pretty strong. But then the Hive Tyrant hit back and failed to kill him. So, I'm pretty happy with that result. I'm disappointed with Abaddon. But we'll see. He's in a position now where he could potentially get killed because the Tyranids can do damage across multiple phases. So we'll see what happens and we'll get back.
Alright, so we had a little bit of minutia. So we had Psychic Phase from the Neurothrope killed Master of Possession? Yep. And then the Psychic from the Hive Tyrant killed the Cultists. Then the Exocrine shooting killed, Hive Tyrant shooting killed one of the Obliterators, Exocrine shooting killed the other Obliterator. Also spiked crazy on those, mind you. 9 shots with the Exocrine. And then the Harpy split his fire between Abby and the Raptors and did nothing. And I totally forgot that this Raider is, this Rhino was here because it's so well hidden. Yeah, so we'll be back in charges. Alrighty, so we made our 9-inch charge with our Tyrant Guard, which was absolutely baller. And then we took 3 wounds off Abby with crazy bone swords. But then he just turned around and just slapped us back and killed them. But it's exactly what I thought it was going to do. It was better than me giving up Hive Tyrant. So yeah, that's us done, and we'll be back with CSM at turn 5.
Alrighty guys, going into my turn 5, all that matters is that we've got Abaddon the Despoiler. He's busted through that wall, he's going into this Hive Tyrant. He has given himself his reroll hits and wounds, so he's going in with 8 attacks. Oof, what a roll. So a couple of ones in there, that's disappointing. I'm going to reroll them with his reroll hits thing. I'm not going to be greedy and fish for 6s. I could have rerolled these successful hits, but we're not going to do that today. Got 2 6s in there for explodes. He is winning on 3s. You're trans, yeah?
I am trans, so it's 4s.
Yes, so 4s with full rerolls though.
I made the choice to go public about that.
Yep, on a battle report. It's a good place to come out.
Yeah.
So that'll be fail, fail, fail. There's 2 6s in there, which do mortal wounds in addition.
Great.
I need you to reroll these.
It's D3 models in addition, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, love that.
So you owe me 2, 4, 6, 8 saves at -4.
4s.
Alright, and these are flat 3 damage each. There's a 3 in there as well.
Oh yeah. So he's already dead.
But you've got your Furnace Pain.
3,
So
6, 9, 12.
12 plus the
that's
2d3.
8.
So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 saves to make. And he's taken 6 so far, so he's got 6 left.
Yep.
So as long as we get 6 that are not 5s,
he's super dead.
yeah, he's proper fucked.
Super. Oh, actually, only by 3.
That's actually not bad, yeah.
No, by 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so that's my turn.
Do I explode?
5 done. Do you explode? No.
Damn it.
Oh, that would have been
That would have
interesting.
been so cool if that happened. Alrighty, so we did a few little janky things. So first thing is we rolled a big old 5 on the advanced roll for our Neurothroat because it has Alien Cunning, so it's obsec and counts as 5 models because Abby was on it, because he consolidated after it, so now I've taken that point. Exocrine just shuffled over to get lines of fire onto the raptors that were there to kill them, which is good because I need as many points for no prisoners, trying to get as many points as possible. And then finally, the Harpy zipped back over here and killed 5 cultists in there. It was very close. Nearly took out 6 to potentially have taken out the whole unit, but I didn't. So, I think roughly it's about like a 97 to a 60 or something like that.
We'll tally it up.
Yeah, we'll tally it up properly, and we'll see you guys in the outro.
Alrighty guys, there we have it. That's the end of the battle report. It was a score of 97 to 65, I believe it was. So a pretty big win at the end for the Night Lords, so I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. What were some of your favourite moments?
Favorite moments?
You can enjoy moments that were good for me.
There were, no, I think it was cool to see you do the kill and respawn thing, that turn 1.
Yeah.
That jankiness to make that charge a lot shorter was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I loved kind of taking through your demon prints and destroying all that like that.
Yeah.
Quarter. I do know that there's a few general errors from my end, and we spoke about it off camera as well, of just like doing different things to kind of maximize my points efficiency and stuff. Like, should have had the Trigon running around being really obnoxious in your backfield where you wouldn't be able to touch it and those kinds of things.
Yeah, I think you can sort of view this game as a lesson in what happens when you pick something like Engage on all fronts. You have a plan, and this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But then when your opponent throws that curveball at you, and then you become reactive.
Yeah.
And instead of sticking to the plan and going for those engage points, you ended up going, oh my god, I have an opportunity here to charge the Trigon and kill Chosen.
Yeah.
And then I can go, but doing that sort of...
It's a risk reward.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm always like that player. I'm like, oh, let's do the crazy stuff. This is going to happen. And 9 times out of 10 it doesn't.
Yeah, well that's why I always run armies that deep strike in your face, because I'm like, I want aggression.
Yeah.
So I need to build that into my plan, because I know that I'm going to end up just playing hyper-aggressive. Yeah. So if I don't plan for that, I'm fucked.
And that's why for VTC we have Tyranids with big bloods. So we can just be like, how do I deal with this turn 1? But yeah, man, it was really cool.
Yeah,
It was really
yeah.
fun. See how you operate.
Abaddon was pretty good. I was actually pretty impressed with him.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that he was going to be slow and that a combination of your smite damage, shooting damage, combat damage, I was like, Abaddon's a liability in this game.
Yeah.
But he actually did quite well.
He screened really well with it.
Yeah, keeping him protected is really important.
And like whiffing as well, like if those Terminators had died a turn quicker,
Yeah.
it would have been a very different story because screens would have now been taken out earlier, engage would have been different. So
Yeah.
I think I don't think you'd ever say he's a hamstrung in your army.
Correct. I mean, there are some people out there that make the argument that he's a 300 point sink because he's slow, your opponent can walk around him.
You can move around him pretty easily.
So some people will say that. I still think he's very good. I don't think he's necessarily an auto-include, but I think including him is never a mistake.
Yeah.
Like unless you're doing something very specific like Creations of Bile, where their secondary relies on Creations of Bile things killing. So Abaddon can be a liability there.
Yeah, right.
But in general, I think he's fine.
Yeah.
Those fucking Tyranids, man, they're just so strong. Like,
Yeah.
I can totally understand why people fucking hate those Tyranids.
Leviathan is for sure.
Like the way that I threw Chosen in and just bounced off your zone throats, you know, the way that the Terminators go in and then just bouncing off your big monsters, I'm like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah, card effects are crazy good, or
Yeah.
streamers. And zones and Euros, especially when people are taking 2 blocks of 5
Yeah.
that are dishing out, D6 plus 3 mortals every time, plus being able to cast multiple powers. It's tough. It's really hard. So they have a lot of strengths, and but secondaries are not great.
Yes.
They're a great linear power army, but you kind of structured to around a couple movement secondaries, 1 or 2 action secondaries, and one killy one. And that's really all your efficacy is.
Yeah,
which
I feel quite lucky that my army actually does give up a shit ton for no prisoners. If
Yeah.
I was running something that didn't give up that many points, you'd be like, oh fuck, now what do I pick from my final?
And with the FAQ changes that, like, for example, hamstrung your imperatives to your Hive Tyrant, I like lists now that actually don't rely on Hive Tyrant. It's kind of like the way you see Abby. I look at some of the Hive Tyrants as 2 to 250 point sinks for something that is high risk, where you can then get more card effects, or you can get more Gribblies, you can get more things that are scoring you points, rather than relying on these things that aren't as effective as they used to be.
Tell us a little bit more about Risky Rolls, where people can find you, all that good shit.
Risky Rollers, man. Oh, there's a lot. So, Risky Rollers, YouTube. Go YouTube just /Risky Rollers.
I'll chuck some links.
Yep, we got a Discord. There's a lot there. So all our tournaments are run out of there. That's first pick there. We have a huge growing community there, from painting stuff, hobby. We organise our club there as well. So we run a club twice a week. Not twice a week, twice a month.
I was going to say, Jesus.
That's pretty good. And that encompasses all sorts of games, from kill team to competitive 40k. So we've been running we're taking 2 teams to VTC summer, and we've been doing our prep there for that. So both teams, kind of, Dalton and I, from learning from you guys, have been trying to educate our whole kind of community about how the team system works, because it's a really engaging way of playing 40k.
Yes.
So our club is kind of where we try to direct a lot of people, but mainly the YouTube. We've got streams up and running now, so by the time this is out, yes.
I'm hoping to have this out probably 2 days after recording. So I'm going on your live stream tomorrow.
So there'll be another game of us.
Yes.
Which you would have seen. It's CSM again versus Demons though. So there's that. So the streams, the YouTube, Discord, Patreon, all that stuff. Extra content there, lots of bits and pieces, and a lot coming in the future. A lot more events. We want to be hosting an event every month this year.
So we'll be working pretty closely. The Blog for Blood God and Risky Rollers. I'll be doing coverage of their events. I'll be doing reviews of their events. I'll be doing Tactica videos and talking about the list that I'm running. So you're going to see a lot of stuff with us together.
100%.
And we're also going to feature on each other's channels because we're all mad cunts.
And we
get
live
along like a house on fire, and the cunt lives 5 minutes down the road.
That's it.
Literally 5 minutes down the road. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good shit. Check out our Patreon. We really appreciate all the support over there, and it helps us get new equipment. Like I was able to buy new microphones today.
Yeah.
So just continuing to grow and improve on the channel in every way we can. And your comments in the comments below also go a long way to helping that.
They do. They help the algo massively.
Drives the algorithm, and it also gives me live feedback on ways that I can improve. I'm always trying to get better at this sort of stuff, so don't be afraid to say, Dean, you shit cunt, you fuck this up in the comments, and then I'll read that and be like, oh, no shit. So
Or even even if it's relevant, just interdict it.
just chuck a comment below. If you've made it to this far in the video, you have my permission.
You have
to just call me a cunt in the comments, right? Just let's fill that comment section.
100%.
That's your reward for making it this far.
Yeah, each comment should be one word. Fuck this cunt now.
Yeah, just fill it up.
Awesome.
Alrighty, guys, we'll leave you there. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Walk for the blood god.
The Warhammer community suffers from some of the most prohibitively expensive essentials in the world, especially Australian content creators. Every single day, Dean wants to create content, but he can't. Suffering from old, worn-out brushes, expensive model kits, and costly software and equipment he can't endure much longer. Just look at this dirty paint water. Would you drink this? Would you let your child? Even a small monthly donation can help provide Dean with clean paint water, basic tools for survival, and access to life-saving information and education. So please, follow the links in the description below and find out how you can sponsor a mad cunt like Dean today and end the suffering. Suffering that is cruel, unsustainable, and your fault.
Do your objective markers ever get lost behind terrain or other models and become difficult to see? Do they ever get bumped and accidentally moved during a game? And do they ever spark arguments about distances? Well, not anymore. Introducing the blog for the blood god, not even remotely patented Neoprene Objective Markers. Made from the same material as astronaut suits, or maybe military equipment, or probably neither of those things, this 2mm thick neoprene synthetic rubber is tear resistant, water resistant, and is designed to last. But that's not all. The blog for the blood god, not even remotely patented Neoprene Objective Markers come in a variety of different designs and styles to suit any faction represented in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. These objective markers are a perfect gift for yourself or a friend, and are a perfect way to flex and show your opponent that not only are you a smarter, cooler, and better 40k player than them, but you also have more disposable income than they do. For the low price of $25, you'll get not one, not two, but 6 neoprene objective markers, perfectly designed for 9th edition Warhammer 40k. But wait, there's more. For a limited time only, people who sign up on Patreon to support Blog for the Blood God as a Skull Champion tier $5 per month member will gain access to a custom design service where I will design a unique logo to support their gaming club, like the one I did to the left here for the Potato Farmers local gaming club here in Melbourne. Follow the links in the description of this video to pick up your set today.